when children are in survival mode as a child and they're growing up with domestic violence or abuse of any kind, they don't dream. They're in survival mode. Their business of life is surviving, and they don't get very many choices, and they don't dream. They don't know what they want to be the rest of their life. And the average age of people who come to our retreats is 60. So we have people who've spent most of their life not knowing who they are, not finding their voice, not really, they're just existing.
Wow.
So they don't really come alive until they get all the information that they need. And by far, it's just one step in their healing. It certainly doesn't take the place of individual counseling,
Right.
but it's a stepping stone to know, am I dealing more with codependency? Am I dealing more with, all kinds of other things?
Issues.
Sometimes it can be a myriad of symptoms.
So Lillian, you're obviously not 60. You look great for 60, by the way, if you are. How did you meet Racheal's Rest?
So actually, I had kind of forgotten about how I found them, and I was talking to Karen when we got here. And she reminded me that I was in counseling at my church at the time.
Okay.
And the counselor at our church knew of Racheal's Rest, and she mentioned it to me.
Okay.
It took me a while to pull the trigger on going and reaching out.
Why?
I think I was scared. I was scared to open that Pandora's box again, and deal with it all.
So when you think of a retreat, it's obviously extensive or a little bit more than just a couple of counseling sessions. The fear behind it just opening up or discovering something that maybe you weren't aware and it was going to be more intense for you to work through. What was it?
I think it was a combination of fears. I was scared to leave my husband, who I was very attached to, still am. But, I didn't want to leave my husband for all these days, and my kids. We had, at the time, 5 young children.
Big family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh no, how am I going to leave everything?
Right. But this is your safe husband. This isn't any
Correct.
Previous abusive
Correct.
relationships. I just want to make it clear.
Yes.
So the survivors that are watching, so they can paint a clear,
Yes.
accurate picture. Okay.
And I was also just kind of afraid that, are these people going to judge me? Who are they going to, I don't know who they're going to be. Are they going to be a safe place for me to talk?
Right. Yeah. I get that. So did it, after a while, you were just kind of thinking about it, you were praying about it. What finally made you decide, all right, you know what, I'm going to sign up, I'm going?
I did do a lot of praying about it, a lot of thinking about it. My husband was very encouraging. Go, you need this, go.
That's awesome.
I got the house, I have the kids, don't worry about any of that. So that's when I reached out. And
So we were talking earlier in the studio. We're out here in the living room being all comfy. But I remember speaking to Susan, and she had mentioned that it's really important for the survivors to understand what their identity is, who they are on the inside. And you had mentioned something as simple as a favorite flower or your favorite color. Can you go into the dynamics of what's happening in the survivor's mind, and that when they are in those places and they stay stuck there and they don't move forward?
Right. As we discussed, when there's abuse, the person does not have the ability to create. They are shut down and they're not given any creativity or any room to grow or expand, and learn who they are. And so there's so many gaps and places in their lives where they just weren't allowed that. And so they've really sold themselves short. And so that self-esteem has really suffered because they don't feel like they have a right. I never felt like I had a right to have a favorite color or favorite flower. I had to sit and think And we have, another handout. We have many handouts that talk about those very things. What is it that you enjoy doing? Where is it is your favorite place? What's your favorite food? And for most of these women, they have really never thought about that because they've just been in survival mode and trying to keep abuse from escalating. So the way you do that is you shut yourself down.
Right. And always appease the perpetrator, the abuser.
Right.
What do they like? Let me not trip them up.
Right.
Because then this is going to be another showdown.
And to have a favorite of anything or to know what you like or prefer of something defines who you are. But because most survivors were never allowed to create their own identity, they had to become people pleasers and become like whoever. For instance, if it started at childhood, you become who daddy wants you to be, or you become whatever mommy wants you to do in that moment. But dysfunctional families are not geared toward the emotional growth of children. So the children have to jump through hoops and become like whoever they're with, whatever they want them to be is who they become. So then you become an adult and you don't know what kind of coffee you like.
Right.
Or what coffee creamer you prefer.
So do you now know what you like?
I do.
I'm a big high fiver. That was awesome.
Yes.
Great job, ladies.
And we're so proud. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, you're good.
We're so proud of her because she's opened her own business, and when we first met her, she was like unsure of so many things, and she's got so much creativity and so many people skills, and there's so many attributes about her. I could go on and on, but
I actually want to support her, and I want you to look into the camera and say the name of your business because she is an entrepreneur, y'all. This is amazing.
Yes, I own Board and Brush Marietta, and it's definitely something that I never would have been able to do before going on that retreat and dealing with everything because I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the self-esteem. I always thought, well, I'm going to fail, so I just won't do anything because then you can't fail.
Yeah.
So
Like a self-protective.
And what I see is that you went from a person who felt like you didn't have the right to flourish, you didn't have the right to express yourself or even explore what your capabilities were. And now we see this wonderful human being who has now been able to express herself and enjoy, your life. Before, it seemed like there was just always this crisis of the heart going on that needed to be healed. So it's great to see this.
I've always said that Rachel's rest saved my marriage and possibly saved my life. Probably saved my life.
Oh, girl. Wow.
100%. It did. It's having that time and realizing why I was doing the things I was doing. I was sabotaging my marriage and this wonderful man. I felt like I was trying to sabotage him.
Yes.
And, we celebrated 10 years last year, and
Congratulations.
we never had a wedding. So we had a wedding last year.
good deal.
And we're better than ever. And I always say, I feel like we shouldn't have made it those first 5 years. And for us to have made it, it's amazing. It's incredible.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. God is definitely using these two ladies in a
Yes.
powerful way.
Yeah.
Praise the
Lillian,
Lord
I
again.
want to say that we gave you the tools to do it, but you saved your marriage and you
Yes.
decided to preserve your life and
Yeah.
create a better one. So you get the credit for that.
And I wanted just to comment that a lot of times a survivor doesn't feel like they have the right to have a happy marriage.
Yeah.
And so they do everything they can to sabotage it, saying, will you still love me if I do this? And will you still love me? So they just keep pushing the boundaries in order to say,
is that
am I
some-
loved enough?
Is that a subconscious thing?
Yes, yes.
One of the themes we have is that we create the reality we think we deserve. So if you have low self-esteem and you think you're unworthy, then you're going to destroy whatever good is going on in your life because we sabotage our own success.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
Definitely.
Lillian, thank you, hon. I
Thank you.
appreciate you opening up like that. That's not easy.
Let him in, 'cause he knows where